Right, so hello guys. Good afternoon from the Philippines. This is Dyson Pads and the crew. I'm Zelestiv. You've seen me in our previous reviews and unboxings, and of course, I have with me my crew. Over to my what's this? Right. I think that's the right or left from my screen is Final Heaven. Down below is
Oh,
Kwepoy. The long-haired, beautiful man here is Long Panda, and of course, Jebol in his graduation form. He has no webcam, so we'll be presenting him as a still picture of his most beautiful, presentable state. Right, so first we'll go with the previous news of the week. So we had State of Play from PS just a few days ago, I think 2 or 3 days ago, where they announced a lot of new titles. So we have Crash Bandicoot 4, we have Hitman 3, we have Spelunky 2. Really a lot of announcements, Control expansion. So I guess I'll just recommend that you watch the live stream because there's tons of titles that they have announced. But State of Play happened during this week, and then we have Brawlhalla coming to transition to mobile just August 5th. So you can now play Brawlhalla on mobile. It has cross-platform support, so you will be able to play with console and PC players. And then you also have the Kickstarter for Massive Darkness 2, which is ongoing right now. You can check out our news article of that and also the campaign page from Cool Mini or Not. And I think Long Panda also has some news to share with us.
wait.
Yeah.
Before that, I would
Okay,
like to
so
make a
Final
comment on
Heaven.
that state
Okay.
of play that
Okay,
happened.
go ahead, Final Heaven.
All these titles and games, but still there's no price on the PS5. I'm so sad about that.
Oh yes, correct. Where is our pricing for the PS5, Sony? Come on, I think it's coming out holiday 2020, so we're all waiting. Hopefully, the next state of play will
How
review
about
the
you guys?
price.
What's
To be
your
fair,
Yes,
uh,
go ahead,
Sony
Jebol.
warned that there will be no PS5 use on that state of
Yeah, actually, they did warn, but come on, everybody knows that we've been waiting on that beautiful router, console, next generation console.
how about you guys though? What's your guesstimate on the price of the
Guesstimate.
PS5?
Estimate
Yeah.
on the price. Well, what's the SRP of the PS4 when it first launched?
I think it was around
300?
25. I mean, in local pricing.
99. I believe it was
399 in USD and it's around 24.
I think it's gonna be
25.
more the same at the PS4's initial.
Hopefully it's around 3992. But will it be bundled with anything else? Like the controller is new,
Are
but
there games announced by Sony recently? Oh wait, there's Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
yeah. And then there's Godfall, which I think is also a
It's
launch.
not really an exclusive, so
But it's not an
probably
exclusive, yeah.
Spider-Man. That's
Spider-Man, I
bundled.
think, is the first one. Yeah, but I think if ever they're not going to release it with the SRP of the PS4, I think the highest they would go would be 499. But that's already
That's about
$500. That would be how much would that be in
26.
PS?
I mean, it would be around
$500.
25 if directly converted.
Yeah, that's 25 if direct.
There's-
But
but-
yes,
There's probably
Taxes.
more taxes and stuff. So
yeah.
that's
So
probably an expected price is 30 to 35. I
yes,
guess.
around that. But maybe that's the bundle price without the unit. But I doubt they'll sell a standalone unit at launch because we've seen, like with the Switch 3 years ago, they only launched bundled units at first here in the Philippines before they launched the unit only. So you had like Legend of Zelda and 1-2 Switch bundled along with the Switch, which kind of increased its price a bit. So yeah, I tried to look for a unit back then. So that's the story of my Switch day one purchase.
Goodbye though. Goodbye.
Yes, of course. But it's 3 years old now, so I think we'll be seeing a next gen from Nintendo in about a year or two. So the Switch will be retired by then. Alright, so state of play, a lot of titles. It's really a Genshin Impact actually. It's not a PS4 exclusive, but it's also one of the most anticipated MMOs for PC. So yeah, and Auto Chess. That was a very wild announcement to Auto Chess to the PS4. Right. So let's move on with Long Panda's news. What was it that you were going to announce or that we went through?
So, moving away from PlayStation, the announcement has something to do with Riot Games.
Alright.
So, Riot has announced that all its employees are taking a week off starting this week. That's August 10.
So that's a
So this
day
is due
from
to
now.
this is due to accusations of Riot Games having terrible work conditions. So what do you think of this move? Tama lang ba? Or
What kind of accusations? Parang are they not protected well in their workplace or?
I think it's
that
an
the
issue in general with the gaming industry. The gaming industry is heavily deadline based. So what ends up happening is that when people are near deadlines, the devs get overworked and they end up hiring a lot of people. But then after that deadline passes, they lay off a lot.
They lay off. All right, I see. Well, yeah,
In the
that's
case of Riot, if you know their games like League of Legends and Valorant, they rely on like bi-weekly or monthly patches to keep the game up to date. So that's a lot of deadlines, and I think a lot of the people working on these games are feeling burnt out. So that's why they went for a 1 week break.
okay. So what do we expect to happen in that 1 week break? Will we get like slower updates? But do we need? It's a week. I think they update. Do they update week? What's the status of Valorant? Final Heaven. Sorry. What's the status of Valorant?
I think they updated the game thrice or 4 times last week due to the new season coming that came out.
So that's
Because
for
I think it's episode 2 now,
For-
and along with that are new patches as well as Killjoy, if you know the character. There's a new character.
Is it
That's-
already
but-
full released or is it in beta still?
oh
I
yeah,
think
I
it's-
forgot about
It's
that.
still no,
Open
it's
beta,
fully
right?
released already.
Oh really? Is Valorant full release? Not,
Wait.
no longer in open beta.
Let me check about that.
I think it's still an
I
open
actually
beta
don't know.
from what I
Uh,
from the last time.
three updates in a week for a fully released game.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, I think it's still open beta.
open beta,
Okay.
right? That's why you
makes
have
more
a lot
sense
of
if it's in
release.
beta.
Yeah.
Because there are so much balancing that needs to be done actually, especially with the guns and the character skills. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
a
it's
week
open beta.
a week of layoff might see slower bug fixes and patches for Valorant.
Riot did say that there are still some teams
Okay.
that will not take a break off this week to continue working on the game. So they'll just take a break off later on. But then in general, for their titles of League, TFT, Legends of Runeterra, and Valorant, some updates might be delayed because of this. But then again, it's for their welfare of the world.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's a nice move, having to rest some of the workers, especially in these trying times where mental health is also an issue. Burning out is really also an issue because there's no office work, but you still work in regular hours, and that's a lot of anxiety too. So I think it's nice that they're going to give their employees break, a 1 week break, enough to cool down.
Is it paid though? Is it paid? Or is it similar to
Unpaid,
ours,
like an unpaid.
deducted
I'm not
from
sure.
the
Riot
payments
didn't
or-
say anything. But then I'm assuming it's paid.
Hopefully it's
But
paid.
then from this announcement, they didn't give any long-term
Specifics.
plans on how they're going to take care of their workers' welfare in the future. So it's great that they're letting them take a 1 week break, but then I think that there needs to be more long-term action for this issue.
It's more of a band-aid solution. 1 week break.
Yeah, maybe. So that's just to cool down the workforce.
Wait, I want to make a correction. I did a little research, and I
Okay.
think it's on Valorant is fully released since
Oh, really?
June 2.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't state that it's on
Open
open
beta.
beta. Apart from the closed beta ended last May 28th. So
Okay, so
there's nothing. Yeah, I've been searching actually
So
if it's
not
open beta.
full
They didn't
release
say.
then.
Yeah, but it's fully released.
Well,
That
that's
that
not a
also makes
fun.
sense because the cosmetics, the battle passes.
Oh yes, skins.
I don't think
Skins.
I don't think they would reset it because oh my god, it costs
Skins.
too much. Buy
Dala
skins,
dala
my
blings, boys. Dala dala blings.
especially with the if you've heard of the Elder Flame skin bundle,
Is that the
man,
two
that
hundred
was too
dollar?
expensive.
Were those the $200 skins, or are they more expensive than that?
Yeah, well, not really $200, but imagine that for 500 pesos, you will get
So that's
1,500
$10.
coins,
Okay.
and the battle pass costs 1K, while the Elder Flame bundle costs around 9,750, I think.
Sweet.
So if you convert that, oh my
It's
god,
$60. That's a $60 pack.
yeah,
If
it
it's nine, yeah,
costs a lot
$60.
for a skin pack.
Sweet. For reference,
Yeah.
LOL skin
Skins
packs.
wins games.
Yeah, $20 or I think, or was it 20 or around 20 or $30 is the most expensive skins for League of Legends. That's like 1,500 pesos. Yeah. So
Yeah,
in
more or
retrospect,
less.
that's the
The legendary skins, I think.
yes, that's the
Right,
comparison.
but
with
then again,
Valorant.
skins don't make you better at the game, so I don't know.
Bling boys, bling.
That's what you think.
It gives you inspirational power. I gotta play the
Nice.
part. I gotta play
Nice.
the part.
Lies and deceit.
All right, and then I think we
Yeah.
also have the Tencent ban that's been going around since around 2 days ago, or I think yesterday.
It's a potential ban. So President Trump, I think the decree was that they're going to ban any companies who had interaction with TikTok, I think. TikTok and Tencent.
Oh yeah,
Let me,
since
let me look
then,
it
I
up.
think Tencent owns TikTok.
No.
Not sure.
It's a
Tencent
different
owns
company.
Riot Games.
It's a different
Is
company.
it? Do they own Riot Games or are they shareholders? I am. not
They
really
they're
sure.
the mother company of Riot Games.
Ah,
Right, yeah, they own 100% Riot Games.
So they own it. The daddy of
But I
Riot
think for
Games.
the TikTok issue, what I've read recently was only government officials are not allowed to use TikTok apps, I think. Yeah, while other normal people can freely use it.
Yeah, so Trump signed the order for TikTok's owner ByteDance and Tencent's WeChat. So that's why Tencent's affected because of WeChat, which is
Okay,
which
so-
is the Chinese like Messenger and Viber, which is really one of the top messaging apps.
Okay, so according to this article by Forbes, all of Tencent's gaming portfolio won't be
Subsidiaries,
affected by the
okay.
order. So
All right,
Riot Games is safe for now.
for now. Right,
For
so at
now.
least that's good news for our viewers and for those in the US. So your games are not affected by this by Trump's war on trade with China. So it's safe. Right, do we have any other news to recap for this week? I think that's done. So I forgot. We've been blabbing, but I forgot to introduce our podcast. So this is the Dice and Defense first podcast, titled "The Die
Good
Is
job.
Cast"
Good job.
podcast.
amazing intro.
Well, at
by
least
the way.
well
That's-
this
Was that a
intro
20-minute intro?
this intro our podcast will start now officially because our topic for today would be what is our team's top 5 most anticipated games on any platform. So what do I and Final Heaven, Kwepoy, Long Panda, and Jebol have been anticipating what games do we want to see released and to try them out. So I guess we'll go start with our top 5, going down to our top 1. So what our least anticipated to our most anticipated. So let me kick it off with my top 5 most anticipated title. It would be Avowed from Obsidian. So it was announced in the latest Xbox. What do you call that? Latest Xbox game showcase. So Avowed, it hit me real nice because it's a fantasy game and it's from, of course, Obsidian Entertainment, and I'm really into fantasy type games. I'm expecting it would play close to like Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War. Those are my type of like fantasy games, and they did not go into the specifics, but I think it's a first person action RPG, so I've been wanting to try something in the lines of Elder Scrolls, since Elder Scrolls 5 has been out for a very long time now, and Bethesda's milking the shit out of that cow. So I've had enough of Skyrim. Though the mods are great, but I've had enough with Skyrim, so I want to try something with a different flavor close to that. So that's Avowed from Obsidian Entertainment, announced back in the Xbox Game Showcase. So no info about that yet, no pricing, no release date, but I am excited about this title. So let's move on to Final Heaven, your 5th most anticipated title.
Oh, my 5th is Dying Light 2.
Ooh.
So I've been playing Dying Light. Well, yeah, because of its parkour mechanics. I really enjoyed parkouring in that game. And then the suspense each night that the zombies are instead of walking, they just run and just chase after you. And come on, if you're alone and playing in the dark, who wouldn't be freaked out by that?
Dying Light.
So
zombies.
Dying Light 2 introduces more parkour, I think. Yeah, and then it also gives us more features like forgot. Wait.
So,
More
but
crafting system,
I
of
did
course.
not expect Dying Light 2 to be on your list because I did not know you played the first one. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So do we have a planned release date for it?
It says it's going to be released this 2020, but due
Okay,
to the
so that's
pandemic, I
close.
don't know
Yeah,
if it's.
Dying Light 2. Yeah, the
Yeah,
first
but
Dying Light.
although I would commend Dying Light's developers, because the first Dying Light, they still have updates coming out here and then, so they're keeping their players up to date with the contents that they have. So there's still a little player base on that because of its multiplayer system as well.
Alright,
So,
so we will link that down, the link of Dying Light if you want to try out Dying Light for in preparation for Dying Light 2 also. And I think that game has multiplayer. The original Dying Light has multiplayer, yeah. So that's, oh, by the way, we might speak in our native language. If we do, we will be adding some subtitles, so don't worry for our viewers that are not Filipinos. Yes, so it makes us easier to explain sometimes when we speak in our native language. So, right. Oh, okay. So Dying Light 2 will also have co-op. That's nice. All right. Let's move on to Kwepoy. Kwepoy, what's your number 5 most anticipated game?
Number 5. It's actually a remake. So it's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake.
Wow!
not Skate 4.
Hell no. Not Skate 4. We're going nostalgic on this bitch. No, it's I like that as a kid, so I'm really excited that they're remaking it. Though I only played the third one, but I think mechanically, gameplay wise, it's more or less the same, just more polished for 3. So it's very nice that they're bringing it back. Also, the soundtrack is awesome.
All right. Well, that's nice. I also did not anticipate that. Didn't think you'd like pro skating games.
I think I played the Tony Hawk. It was when I was an elementary
I think
student
the
back in
only
PS1.
Yeah. It's on PS1. Yeah. It's
the only
very old,
Tony Hawk
so-
I played was on mobile. I think
Wow.
there was a Tony Hawk
There
on
was a mobile
mobile.
game about
I think there was a Tony Hawk on mobile, but you'll just like control this. What do you call that when it's going side to side? You just do tricks while you're in the air, and that's it. That's the only thing you do that in that mobile version that I played. Then you get scores for whatever tricks you're doing mid-air.
The closest I got into skating was Tech Deck, and that's not even a video game.
Yes,
So I can't really say anything here.
Oh, it's just a fun arcade game. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not a skater, so it's just fun, just dumb fun.
Do we have a release date for that?
I think it's on September, if I'm not mistaken. September
That's
this
a
year.
month away. Yeah, I forgot about the platforms.
Fairly close.
The platforms that these games will release. So Avowed,
Uh,
Avowed will release in Xbox and PC. So Final Heavens, Dying Light 2 will release. Is it also on PC only or also on
Steam,
console?
basically.
Okay, so PC and then
So far, Steam and consoles.
Consoles, I think
is
PS4
not
too.
yet. Let me check.
And then for Tony Hawk,
it's September. Wait. It's the platform, right?
yeah, it's a platform.
Microsoft. It's for
Actually,
PC, PS4 and Xbox.
Okay, so consoles, the major consoles, and also on PC or not on PC.
No, it's on PC.
Okay,
I'm
PC,
not, I think
PS4,
it's
and Xbox.
same release, so same release dates.
Okay, so they're all at the same time.
Yeah. For
Dying
Dying
Light
Light 2,
2,
it's also the major ones like Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, and then Windows.
All right, so all the major big platforms too. So okay, move on to Long Panda. Your fifth most anticipated game.
My fifth most anticipated game is No Straight Roads. It's an
What's
indie
that?
game out of
Cool.
Malaysian company.
No
So it's an
Straight
action.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was
cool.
announced during
It's an indie
E3 2019. So it's an indie game. It plays like Crypt of the Necrodancer, where you have to
Oh,
move around.
That's
Mm.
nice.
So
Yeah,
the whole
it's a rhythm
concept is
game.
that there are two up and coming artists, and they go against the music industry. So they're going against the artists from that industry. So each artist or each boss fight has a unique style. So one of them is EDM, the other one's classical. So
nice.
I just think the concept is very interesting, and it's going to be releasing at the end of this month. So August.
Oh, that's close. Really
August
close.
25. So I'm also very excited for it. There's also a free trial for it on Epic Games for one of the boss fights.
Oh, and right now it's out. It's okay. You can try that out now. No Straight Roads, right? It will be releasing on what platforms?
It will be releasing on August 25 on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Alright, so you
everywhere.
have almost except mobile, but you know, you have
Oh, yeah.
all the major platforms
Different,
for,
different.
for no. Don't you guys have phones for No Straight Roads?
Oh my god.
So that's cool. That's our first indie title in our countdown today. So that's nice. It's an indie. We're seeing some love for the indies. All right, let's go to Graduation Boy Jebol. Graduation Boy Jebol, what's your fifth most anticipated game?
It would be Atomic Heart.
Ooh, what's that?
So, Atomic Heart is a open world adventure first person game set in Soviet Russia. It's by a Russian indie dev,
Nice.
Montfish. So basically, its setting is like Bioshock. So you could think of it as an open world Bioshock, since
Ah.
it has very twisted elements.
Is this
But
also
it-
an indie developer? Is Montfish an indie developer?
Yes,
Or am I?
yes.
Okay, alright. So we have a second indie title here. So it's releasing
Previous-
on. Okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's gonna release on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Alright.
Previously had a release year of 2020, but now it's DBA.
So yeah, COVID-19 pushed back
Rip.
to.
Very sad.
that's not good. All right, so that's our recap for our top 5. Avowed for me, Dying Light 2 for Final Heaven, Tony Hawk's remake Pro Skater 4. Am I right, Kuya Boy? Is it 4?
It's 1 and 2.
1 and 2. I'm sorry. 1 and 2. No Straight Roads for Long Panda, and then Atomic Heart for Jebol. So we have 2 titles there that are from indie developers. So that's nice. Okay, we'll move on to our top 4. Let's jumble the arrangement right now. So I'm going back to Graduation Boy Jebol. Graduation Boy Jebol, what is your top 4 most anticipated title?
My top 4 is actually Dying Light 2.
Oh, so we have 2. 2 in our team that is
Nice.
anticipating Dying. That one I expected from Jebol because we've been playing Dying Light. We tried Dying Light before, yeah. So that one is not a weird title to come out from his list. So, okay, so Dying Light 2.
What
Go
gets me excited here is the difference is that between Dying Light 2 and Dying Light 1 is dialogue choices
Yeah.
and how they greatly affect the world.
Also, you like your choices in dialogue will affect the.
Yeah, it's like a
the
butterfly
dialogue.
effect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
Isn't Dying Light 2 I mean Dying Light in general a multiplayer game?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is called.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
So
yeah.
so will those actions affect other players?
You're basically like a party, so you go through the story at the same time. It's just co-op story.
Yeah. It's not like an MMO type of.
Yeah,
But-
I don't
but-
think you
but-
can.
But
Yes.
will your like when one of your friends exit, you can continue the story, that particular story, or can
You can.
Okay, so and then whatever you
Basically,
go.
the co-op mode of Dying Light is there's one host in which the story progression will be based on you.
Okay, so just
People can just join and exit.
just the host story will change from the choices, so it doesn't affect the other players.
Campaign.
Even if they jump out or jump in, yeah. I mean, yeah. So you
Yeah.
know.
Have you tried playing Division 2? I think it's like that.
Yeah, okay.
It's basically open world, but you have quests. But you could also invite people to join
Yeah,
you
mid quest.
whenever you want.
It's like jump-ins or something. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, Kwepoy, what about you? What's your number 4 most anticipated?
Number 4. It's Yakuza.
Ooh.
The new Yakuza game.
Ah.
I
That
think
one I expected
like a
from
dragon.
you.
Like a dragon.
Yeah.
It's the Yakuza like a dragon. So I have never played the Yakuza game, but what interested me was it's going to be a turn-based game now.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Was
it's fairly interesting how they would try to do that.
Was it action-oriented before? The series was
Yes,
action-oriented,
it's
right?
it's more of a beat. It's akin to a beat 'em up, I guess.
Yeah.
The gameplay of Yakuza.
That's a cool
So
change.
it's basically a sandbox game with loads of side quests and random stuff to do, similar to GTA, but the combat is more of a beat 'em up. So going to a turn-based system would be fairly interesting. Also, it looks funny as hell.
Yeah, I think so too. So
You should see the trailer of it. It's really, really weird.
it's coming out on PC, Xbox One, and
That I'm not sure. Let me
PS4,
just
I
check.
think. Yes. Actually, there's a Japanese version out right now, but worldwide release would be on November. If I'm
Oh,
correct.
it's November. But-
Yes, and then of course they'll also transition.
It's...
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sure. It's not the same. It's going to be released on other platforms as well. On the next generation of platforms.
Yeah,
So
okay.
It's
So it will come out on the next generation router and refrigerator, PS5 and Xbox One Series X. Yes, our next generation appliances. Yakuza Like a Dragon for Kwepoy. Alright, next, I think, okay, so I'll take this. My number 4, is another game that has no information out yet and was also announced in a live stream way back. It's Elden Ring. So Elden Ring, from the makers of Sekiro, it's from Software, with the story created by the one and only George R. R. Martin, so the creator of Game of Thrones. So I think we'll have the story from George R. R. Martin and gameplay from Software, which is a very interesting mix. We all know that George R. R. Martin writes very gruesome and amazing stories if they're not butchered in the TV screen. So he does write
GOT
great.
Season 8.
And from Software, I really enjoyed Sekiro. The difficulty of that game hits me right. It's very nice to play it. So this one is a more fantasy oriented one, but I think they won't be doing it like like Dark Souls and Sekiro. So it's a new battle system, but it's close to that. So I'm interested in how they will mash up these two concepts of George R. R. Martin's writing and that kind of gameplay. So that's Elden Ring, and I think will also release on the major platforms. So that's my number 4. So
I think I also watched that trailer. It's
Yeah,
E3
Elden Ring.
2019, right?
Yes,
It doesn't say much about the plot, but I think there are goddesses out there and magic things.
Yeah, so it's very high
There's
fantasy.
not they didn't show much of of what's in store in the game. So it's really what makes it very interesting is that it has this mystery effect that we don't know what's
Yeah.
in store for that game yet.
You're really
So it's
anticipated.
Really, it's really one of the anticipated games.
What we just know is it's from the makers of Sekiro and of course George R. R. Martin. So that's what makes it like
Yeah.
a very big type of hype game. Alright, so that's my number 4. And what about Long Panda? So what is your number 4?
My number 4 game is Star Wars Squadron.
Ooh.
It's by EA, so it's for Microsoft Windows, PS4, and Xbox One, and it releases October 2.
EA.
So I know EA is a bit notorious when it comes to releasing games, but then the last Star Wars game, which was Jedi Fallen Order, was really nice.
Yeah, that
I
was
did
good.
Like it a lot.
They
I hope
did
they ride
amazing on that.
they ride that wave, and I hope Squadrons will be amazing. I'm mainly interested in it because as a kid, when I watched Star Wars movies, the one thing I wanted to do was to fly TIE fighters.
Spaceship.
Pew pew.
It's always really cool, you know. So
Justice for Pod Riders.
pod race.
Yeah,
that
pod
will always be
racing.
pretty cool. So I'm very much interested in Star Wars.
So the focus on this one is more on like starfighters, right?
Yeah.
More on
You
your
get to play
EA.
either Galactic Empire or under the
two spaceships.
Rebels.
Pew pew in space.
Lupio in space.
That's-
EA did say there will be no microtransactions.
Wow, EA.
Coming from EA.
Wow.
No.
With a grain of salt.
What? No unlockables. So,
But I do have
Lies.
like, high hopes for this game.
is it a
Especially with how the
multiplayer
last Star
title?
Wars game went. I'm not sure.
Yes,
Will,
yes.
will
Oh,
display
it is
like
multiplayer.
will
yeah.
display
It
like
should be
Battlefront?
because it's a space game.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Or
fun
it's a battle
with
game.
friends. You can
So
like
this is
shoot
like
each other. in space.
Battlefront in
It's-
like
it's-
fighter mode.
It's also
fighter
VR
ships mode.
compatible. So
Wow! Live the dream.
Wow, VR. So
Live the
yeah,
dream.
you get to
Be the
get to
Jedi that you
become-
always wanted to be.
the Jedi.
Alright, so that's number 4 for Long Panda. It's Star Wars Squadrons from the one and only EA. What about you, Final Heaven?
So my top 4 is Crusader
Crusader.
Kings 3.
Oh, alright.
Yeah.
CK3.
It will be released. It said that it will be released this September 1, 2020.
Very
And
close. Very close.
It will run on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, which is good because Linux games
all the way.
are, well, they're quite rare, especially when it comes to mainstream games, but
They should
I'm
support
glad
Linux
that
more.
Crusader Kings
We
they
stand
should
Linux.
support more. Yeah. So the premise of Crusader Kings 3 is, if you're aware with Civilization type of games, it's basically like that. So what made me anticipate this game is that back when it was still Crusader Kings 2, us,
CK2!
yeah, back in college, we're
Woohoo!
playing this game. Come on, and
Yeah.
we spent hours and hours for just one session, and yet we couldn't finish it. But it's so very fun to play,
Yeah.
especially when you conquer, places.
Empires and all that. Yeah, so
Yeah, the new, I don't know what to expect yet, but graphics wise, it's definitely improved. It's smoother now, and it offers more what do you call this, 3D effects. If you
Yeah.
saw the trailer, you'd know that there is a big difference when it comes to graphics.
this one,
So-
CK3. Because
Yeah,
CK2 is
CK3.
on that note, CK2, the base game is now free to play. So if you want to try that out and you know what to expect with CK3, that's improvements over that title. I think it's still the base game is free to play, but there's tons and tons of expansions out there for it. So yeah, the base game doesn't give CK2 justice, but if you want to try out the Crusader Kings franchise, that's a good entry point. But there's a lot of good new features with the expansions, but it will cost you a lot. Like the Royal Editions, when they go on sale, from 15,000 pesos, they go down to 8,000, so that's still a lot, really. So many expansions to this game, so I hope CK3 will live up to that.
Incest
Alright.
Simulator.
Incest. Fake smiles upon me.
Face smiles. Yeah, so that's number 4 for Final Heaven, and now we'll go on to our top 3. So we're entering the top 3 of our most anticipated titles. I will go to Long Panda. What is your top 3 most anticipated title?
Alright, so my top 3 most anticipated title is Trails of Cold Steel 4.
Ooh, that's
So,
expected of you.
Good choice.
I've been playing the Trails franchise for a while now, so I'm very interested to see how the Cold Steel part of that franchise will conclude. So it's actually been released in Japan for 2 years, but then in classic Falcon fashion, it takes 2 years to port.
In classic
And,
localization fashion.
Trails 3 isn't even released for PC yet, but then Trails 4 will be released on late October, I think. Oh, it will be released on PS4 on
Yeah, late October.
October 27th
Yeah.
for North America. I'm not sure if we're included there.
I think
then
we
it will
are.
also be
Yeah.
Japanese.
Oh, it will be released for Nintendo Switch in 2021. And then
And PC.
I don't know how reliable this is, but it will be ported to PC also in 2021.
How many
So-
PC Trails of Cold Steel do we have right now? Do we have 1 and
just-
2?
That are ported to English, we just have 1 and 2.
Okay.
3 is currently released on the PS4, so I don't know how reliable this information is.
Okay.
That they're going to port this to PC on 2020.
The fourth title.
Highly
I think I played the first one of this. I haven't continued the franchise, but it's also a nice traditional JRPG. So Trails of Cold Steel 4. This is the last of the franchise. This is like
it's the last
ending.
of the Trails of Cold Steel.
That
part.
storyline.
So
Okay.
they're going to have a new series, I think, sometime in the future.
Alright, so that's Trails of Cold Steel 4. The Legend of Heroes. Trails of Cold Steel 4. Alright, Final Heaven. What is your top 3? Oh, wait, Final Heaven, top 4.
My top 3
3.
is.
Top 3.
I will not lie if I don't think. Yeah.
It's a title expected of you. And that is.
Yeah, it's an expected title for me. It's Diablo 4.
Hmm.
I thought it was Diablo
I thought
Immortal.
it's Diablo Immortal. Don't you guys have phones? Don't you guys? Okay, so Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Diablo 4.
Yeah, as a Diablo person, I played it since the very beginning, the Diablo 1 for PC, and then when they ported it to PS1, I also have it. Then Diablo 2, the best Diablo for me so far.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Diablo 3 is pretty restricting and pretty, it's very linear for me. I'm expecting a lot for Diablo 4, especially when it comes to the classes, the skills. Because have you guys watched the trailer of it?
Yeah. I've been
It's really
introduced to
nice.
Diablo 4. Yeah.
Dude, the cinematics is so good. So
Yeah, That's
apart
also
from
one of the
that,
things you enjoy with Diablo, the cinematics.
yeah, cinematics especially. But for me, it would be the lore. What I also hope that the lore would be, or the plot would be better this time. I really, it's a thumbs down for me for Diablo 3's plot.
Storyline,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far, we've got
yeah.
3 classes revealed for that for
Mhm.
for Diablo 4, yeah.
The
And
main classes.
it will come out on
It's TBA. You know Blizzard. You know Blizzard.
so I don't. It took how many years was it before they released 3? 12 from Diablo 2?
Yeah.
Around 12. So I hope Diablo
Yeah,
4
about the-
won't take that long. So
have you seen the manual for Diablo 3 before when it was first released? It was this thick.
No, I have
This
not. Actually, it took a while for me to play Diablo 3. I think I only played it when it came out on the Switch. So I got one on the Switch, but I hadn't had the luxury to try it when it was first released. But I did want to try it. I
I
did
see.
want to try it. But yeah, at least I had a taste of it. But when I got my copy on the Switch, I blasted through the story too. So it's also one game, but it's not on my list. But I also want to try out Diablo 4.
So, Diablo 4 will be released on Xbox, PS4, and Windows, so everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope it has cross-platform features, though.
Does
Not on
Diablo 3 have
TV,
cross-platform? Does
no,
Diablo 3
no,
have
it
cross-platform?
doesn't.
Diablo 3. Oh, so that's sad. So I
Cross
hope
pla-
4.
Cross-platform or cross-play?
Crossplay. Sorry.
Crossplay, my bad.
Crossplay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct,
yeah.
you're correct. Thank you for correcting us. But Diablo Immortal. The true Diablo
Oh, by the way,
4.
Diablo
Better
Immortal
upgrade
is
your phone.
is being developed by Tencent Games, and it's just
Oh.
I think it's just a copy pasta of another Chinese game,
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
that.
local Chinese game. Yeah, they just copied the assets and then
So it's Pokemon
what-
Unite Diablo edition.
Yeah. Pokemon
yeah,
Unite.
I've read that. It's just a copy pasta.
Diablo Immortal. Well, it was announced way back. We got a new trailer of Diablo Immortal, but that's it for the development. We haven't had any concrete new news about that. So
Yeah, but looking from the trailer and gameplay of it, it's basically just your ordinary MMORPG on mobile.
it's your
Doesn't really
traditional mobile
The
MMO.
Diablo, it doesn't give the
Feel.
Diablo feel.
Alright.
Anyway,
So
that's top three.
top 3. So let's go to Kwepoy. What is your top 3?
Top 3. It's Godfall.
Hmm. Godfall.
Fairly expected. Fairly expected.
Yes.
It's an action. It's an ARPG, so it's right up my alley. I think they've shown new gameplay of this.
Yeah,
recently.
during the state of play
So-
last about 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, the moveset for of the weapons is the moveset are tied to the weapons. So
Okay.
So you can
okay.
be very proficient with for a single weapon without, you know, adding
It
new skills, adding new moves.
It reminds me of that one game that we played together. I forgot the name of the
Godfall.
game. Wherein your skill set, your move sets are all dependent on the weapons and the
I mean, that's basically Monster Hunter.
actions.
No, Guild Wars 2 has that
No,
style.
apart from
Oh,
Monster
yeah.
Hunter.
Guild Wars 2 has that style where your skills are
Ah, yes,
dependent
yes,
on the
yes.
weapon. Yeah, so that's one system that it's similar to.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, and it's. I'm not really sure how they are going to implement the looting aspect if that's the case.
Yeah, actually.
Only just stats that go up, so I'm not sure how they would make it enticing for the players.
So
And
Godfall.
I'm not sure if there are boss battles. So far, they've shown more of the mobs, typical mobs.
Mobbings from all the trailers that we've had. Yeah, so Godfall releases on what platforms?
It's for PS5 and Windows.
Okay. So
I
PS5
think
and
it's
Windows.
still slated for 2020, but given the pandemic, I'm not sure if it will push.
Yeah, I think this is one of the launch titles maybe of PS5 too. Possibly it's one of the first that they've announced for that next generation router. So for our next generation router, the PS5. Alright, so Godfall for Quefoy. So my number 3 is actually on Kickstarter right now. I don't know how to pronounce this correctly. I might butcher it. I think it's pronounced Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. So it
You then.
yeah, Yuden or whatever, or the 100 Heroes. Just call it 100 Heroes. From the developers of one of my most favorite franchises ever, Suikoden. So the original developers of Suikoden are working on this in partnership with the studio that is producing it. So it's out now on Kickstarter. It has about $2,800,000 in pledges, so that's a lot. You have 20 days to go. It's basically, as I've said, a spiritual successor to the Suikoden series, which I've been wanting a remake of ever since the new consoles came out. So that's a classic JRPG feel. You have the 6-player party system. I think hopefully they also bring back the Suikoden 2's move combination styles when you pair up the moves of your party members and all that. But it has that JRPG feel outright, and I am really happy that they're making a spiritual successor for Suikoden. So that's Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. It's still out in Kickstarter, so if you want to back, you can still back it. It's really beyond their goal now. So this one is slated to come out 2021 or 2022 on the major platforms, and maybe the developers are saying that they will release it on the Switch or whatever the next generation console from Nintendo will be once they release the game. So that's my top 3 would be Ayuden.
Have you seen the progress on that Kickstarter?
Yeah.
They made the goal within 2 hours of posting.
Yeah,
They
and
blasted
after around
through.
6 hours or 8 hours, it already reached $1 million.
A million,
So,
yeah. So
man, that's so crazy.
it's
Very
one of the
insane.
hottest video game Kickstarters we've seen. Yes.
Have you seen the aesthetic of the game?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very similar
Yeah.
It's very similar to
Octopath Traveler.
yeah. It's like a
True.
2.5D
Yeah.
graphics with like pixelations, and so that's why it's really nice. I really love it. Come on. 2022 is still far. I don't know if I will back it, but I'm still thinking about it. I think I'll wait for release because it's still a long way.
I didn't put that in my top 5 simply because I've never played any Suikoden games.
Oh man. Oh man.
I think I've only heard Suikoden in college.
Yeah.
It's more of
Sad,
Final Fantasy.
Oh man.
Yeah, never heard of it.
For our
That's
our
sad.
listeners right now, I know
Sad.
you're hurt by this, but
Hey,
okay.
But
I-
well,
I only have access to the games that were bought in my childhood. So don't really have a choice. I'm thankful it's
I
Final
don't know
Fantasy.
what choice.
Yeah, but you see now the diversity of our tastes in our team. So we have a person that hasn't tried Suikoden. I haven't tried any of the sports games too.
I mean,
so,
it's
and
not too
much
late.
fun. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
I
too
think
late yet.
Yeah, you could just get an
Fine.
emulator and then
But I think
True,
I
true.
think knowing you, you'll love this too. You'll love this series
Yeah,
too. Knowing you.
I mean, it's a JRPG. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you'll love this.
What's that knockoff
What's not to
game that
love?
you're playing that's based on Final Fantasy?
Oh,
I've
it's
seen you.
yeah, it's Epic Battle Fans. It's a
Oh
Flash
yeah.
Flash. Hell yeah, it's a Flash game.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you waited for that. I think you waited for was it
Yeah.
the fifth one, the fourth one?
I
You
think
waited
the
for
fifth one.
the fifth one, right? You waited for that for like
Yeah,
you waited for the release and all of that.
it's a nice game. Nice aesthetic.
Correct.
Yeah, you'll also love Suikoden if you play it.
Yes, you will.
If you play.
I anticipate that you will. So, graduation boy, Jebol, what is your top three?
Oh, my top 3 is actually also a Kickstarter game.
Ooh,
It's called Death Ground.
what's
It's-
that?
It's basically like, for a simple description, it's basically like Alien Isolation but with dinosaurs.
Ah, of course. When there's dinosaurs involved, you'll immediately love it. That's so up your alley.
Yes.
It's basically the Dino Crisis of Resident Evil.
Yes.
Yes, correct. So, Death Ground. Solo and where will this one be released on? What are the platforms we can expect this game to be?
So far, it's only confirmed to be on Steam. Thank God,
Okay.
Steam.
Steam.
But
Release.
it has no release date. Of course, it just started its campaign in Kickstarter.
Oh, really? How many days have we had left? How many days left for your?
6 days left.
Wow.
Estimated deliveries 20 September 2021. So it's
Okay,
like
so that's a year
more
from
than a
now.
year.
Yeah. So this is another solo and co-op survival horror game with dinosaurs. Yeah. So this is like Ark in Resident Evil mode, like. Or yeah, Dino Crisis is the best comparison that we have for this one.
Let's also shout out the devs, Draw Drop Games of Death Ground.
Oh, jaw dropping. Yes. This is also an indie developer.
Yes, and
Oh, here we go. Wow, you've been mentioning indies left and right now.
yes, love for indies.
Oh, love for indies. So we will also link the Kickstarter pages of the games we've mentioned on Kickstarter down below. So you can visit their pages and be updated on their progress and whatnot. Who have I not mentioned yet for their top three? I lost track. Have I called on you, Long Panda, already? For the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
three? Okay. I think we're done. Is that are we finished with Final Heavens too?
It's up to
I think we
We've covered everyone. Okay, so we're going down to our top two. So let me start this off. This has also been mentioned on one of my colleagues' list. This is Crusader Kings 3. So
Yeah.
I am in love with the Crusader Kings series. As you've also seen on our Instagram, I did post a snapshot of one of my playthroughs there where my empire, the Holy Roman Empire, has been hit with the Black Plague. So that was one of the screenshots that I showed you there. So a lot of things are going to change in Crusader Kings 3. So as Final Heaven mentioned earlier, the graphics have been revamped. We are no longer staying with like static portraits of the characters. So we have really moving full body shots of your characters in game. So you'll see also the wounds, the scars. So when your character gets beat up, or when a character gets beat up, you'll also see that on their avatar. So the graphics are really bumped up. There's a lot of new features too. So diplomacy's been changed. Spying has been changed. Events has been changed. So there's a lot coming to this game. So Crusader Kings 3 is a lot to take in. September 1st is coming out. I have pre-ordered the game, so I will test it out once it comes out about 20 days from now. So expect some gameplay from us, but that's also one of the games that I really look forward to. Crusader Kings 3. Right. Let's go back to graduation boy Jebol. We want to hear more from you. So what is your number 2?
Oh, my number 2 is very expected. AC Valhalla.
With that,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know what's your number 1. I
Yep.
know what's your
Yes, of
number
course.
1.
Very obvious.
Everybody
Very
knows your
obvious.
number 1 now because of that.
Of course. Of course.
Okay,
I was
so
expecting it.
yeah, AC Valhalla. Okay, so AC Valhalla. Go ahead, Jebol. Feature the game.
So of course it's from Ubisoft. It's Assassin's Creed with Vikings, so that fit up my alley. But what I like about it is the combat, the changes in combat. You know, dual shields.
Yes, exactly. This is also the reason why I might
Oh,
get the
yes.
game. That's the reason why I might get the game. Dual
Bash
shields
them in with
playthrough. Yeah,
Yeah, so
amazing feature.
I've been a fan of the RPG route of AC since Origins and Odyssey. I just played them this year, but they were enjoyable. Not the best of games, but enjoyable. So that's okay for me.
So this will come out on what platforms? AC Valhalla will come out on.
On Xbox One and Xbox Series X. It's also a next gen game. PS4 and PS5, and of course PC.
So that's we're going to the Viking era now. So I think that's the trend with AC. They're moving to and from eras. So we had Greek was Odyssey, right?
Yeah, Odyssey
Am I
is
correct?
Greek.
Yeah.
Origins is Egypt. So
Oh,
they touched up the big mythologies.
So now they're going to the Viking era. I actually stayed way late to watch the trailer for this and also the gameplay video, where I saw the dual shield, and that's it. The game sold me on that. So when I heard there's double shielding here, that's it. When the game comes out, be sure to see gameplay videos from us where we go through an entire playthrough of AC Valhalla with just dual shields. So we will make that happen. So hashtag dual shields all the way.
So, is there going to be
I
a
also-
crossover between God of War and PC?
Ah,
Just
that's an
in the
that's an
setting of-
interesting
Mm.
that's an interesting take.
Uh,
God of War X AC.
Well, in the latest God of War, Egyptian and the Japanese gods were teased. So
really?
maybe yes, they were teased.
That's cool. So is Kratos still alive by then? Yung Lolo Kratos.
Or is it boy?
Grandpapa
Oh,
Kratos?
angry to
It's boy.
angry to die.
Is boy a teenager now? So he's no longer a boy.
If they remove the word boy in the next game, I'll be so pissed.
That's the entire
Boy.
No
voiceover
to
of Kratos.
Atreus, no to Loki, just
No name, just boy. You are boy now. Alright, so AC Valhalla, Viking setting, coming out on the next generation appliances and PS4 also, and Xbox and PC. Alright, so Long Panda, what's your number 2?
My number 2 game is Stray.
Ooh, what's that?
So it's an exclusive for PS5, so I might get the PS5 just because of this game. So it's essentially
Is
a
that the
cat
cat
simulator.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's-
it's the cat simulator. So you get to play as a cat, which is excellent. But then the
Playing the
surrounding
pussy.
premise of the game is also very interesting. You're traveling through a city that doesn't have humans, so it's a robotic city, and you're trying to find your way home if there's still home. So very interested in the
Ooh.
concept. There's no gameplay yet, but then you get to play as a cat. So
Why
so-
not, right?
Quick question. Have you played Neko Atsume?
ay,
No? Because you mentioned cats. Neko Atsume is full of cats.
I never got into Neko Atsume.
Ah,
Hey,
what
man.
about Jebol?
We've played with a pussy.
Ah.
I mean, Jebol,
I-
Jebol's pussy always, cat always plays with him. So, are you interested in this game too? Has it ever? Have you
No,
ever
it's-
gotten through this title?
I don't find it interesting.
Oh, what? You're a cat. You're a cat
Really
lover.
now?
Yes,
Sad,
yes.
sad, sad. Shame, shame.
Shame.
I think he's fed up with the cat.
Yeah.
Too much disturbance in the force.
Too
with,
much cats will kill you.
with the cat. So this will just released on the PlayStation 5.
Right, PlayStation 5.
Right. So
Oh wait,
that's-
it's also
or
on the
4.
PS4. So
Okay,
PS4
so,
and
but
5.
just on the PlayStation
PC.
platform
And PC.
for now. Oh, PC. Alright. Okay, so there you go. If you want to live your cat dreams straight. Right. Kwepoy, what is your top 2?
So my top 2. Fairly recent announcement. It's an MMO.
Ooh,
I
ooh.
think it's an MMO. I
Spice.
think.
Is this? Go ahead.
Take a
go
guess. Take a
Go
guess. Take a guess. Take a guess.
Okay. Have I mentioned this earlier? Is this Genshin Impact?
No, no, no.
No, it's not. Ah, wait. It's fairly It's recently announced, so it's not.
Fairly
Genshin.
recent. Fairly recent.
Fairly
I think-
recent.
I think you have an idea.
Aw, what are the
I'll give.
news?
I'll give a hint. I'll give a hint. Emergency.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
it's
PSO2.
Yeah, so it's PSO2 New Genesis.
New Genesis.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's a shocking announcement. I never expected another PSO2. I expected
Yeah, yeah.
PSO3.
3.
Best Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Well, it's debatable.
New
mean, if-
Genesis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's PSO2 was fun, but when we played it, I think I'm not sure if we did.
It
We
was
did.
college.
We played it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
we
was
did.
it
College.
was
So it's-
so
it's-
restrictive.
Very restrictive for
Yeah.
the player. So I hope they would ease up on the restrictions or enough
For
to actually
players
progress
to
in the game.
experience. Yeah.
yeah,
Though-
it's very restrictive.
That's
But
the
the gameplay
reason
was
I
very-
think
very
that's why we quit PSO2 because of the
Yeah.
restrictions. But we really love the game. So yeah, high hopes for New Genesis.
Very high hopes, and the gameplay is very promising.
Yeah.
I think they've focused on mobility since the maps are fairly large compared to
The old
compared to
ones.
PSO2. That's very more of a corridor instead of a vast open space. So hopefully they would expand. Hopefully it's an actual open world, not an
MMO,
instance-based.
yeah, not loading times
If
all
they
around.
can do that. But we'll wait. We'll just have to wait and see how they do it.
This will come out on what platforms?
So surprisingly, it's on the Nintendo Switch,
Woohoo,
PS4, Xbox Series
Oh.
X.
can the
Xbox
Switch
One,
handle
and
this?
Windows. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting.
If it's instance based, I think the Switch. Can
Yeah,
definitely
I
handle
think
it.
I think there goes my dream. Of,
Yeah, your
Yeah,
open world
and
dream.
Given the pattern of Fantasy Star games, it's basically the
Mission-based, I
core
think.
core gameplay is instance. So
Yeah.
I don't.
But still, it's PSO.
We shouldn't.
One
cross
can
out
hope.
the possibility.
Yeah, one can hope.
One can hope.
I hope it
Alright.
has crossplay.
Yeah, well,
Since
yeah,
the
it's an
controls are-
MMO too, so
It's
I
not
think
really.
I think we will get some crossplay
Yeah.
here. Yeah, so
So
that's
that's good
PSO2 New Genesis. Yeah, that's fairly announced, recently announced. So top 2 for Final Heaven.
I think you guys know this. It's from Grinding Gear Games.
Ooh.
You
Oh,
know
I know.
you know that
GGG.
game? Yeah, the GGG.
The better
And-
Diablo.
Yes, the true Diablo 3. No, just kidding. But
The final form.
it's Path of Exile 2. Basically, it still runs on the Path of Exile client, but it runs on a different campaign than the original one. So you don't have to download a new client again to be able to enjoy that. So it's still on the same client, just different campaign and more features. So if our listeners do not know it, it's basically the better version of Diablo 3. uh,
It's
I've
the
been playing
MMO
this
version,
since
yeah.
yeah, I've been playing this since college. It's totally free to play. So you guys can just go to pathofexile.com and just download it right away. And I like how this game handles its player base.
Microtransactions. Player
They
base.
really, yeah, the microtransactions, it's just cosmetics and a little boost, but it's definitely trivial if you're free to play. You
Very
can
standard,
basically,
very
yeah.
standard free to
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
yeah, you can basically catch up with people
Pay.
who pays to play the game, but it's not really necessary. So what I like most is their handling of their player base. They really listen to their constituents, especially with comments and concerns. And I think they just 2018 or 2019 they launched their first ExileCon.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a convention for Path of Exile players, just like Warframe. You know the conventions happening in
Yeah,
Warframe,
Tenacon.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
Tenacon. Yeah, it's basically what I like about that is that they really dedicate the devs and the publishers dedicate the game to the player base. So that's what I really like about them. And for Path of Exile 2, it will bring out new. It's a 7-act campaign, and then there will be new characters with ascendancy classes. The ascendancy class is basically the final job form that you can take if you level enough. And then the currency system here is not really based on gold on whatever. It's based on what you have, on what you. Oh wait, I forgot the term. Anyway, I'm hyped. I'm very very hyped about this, but unfortunately they haven't state the release date
Release
yet.
date, yeah.
Yeah, but
Tagalog
Mhm.
mo na Final Heaven. You can explain in
eh.
Tagalog the one that you could not
okay, hirap na
explain.
ako eh.
I'll just sub it. I'll put a subtitle if you can't explain whatever you wanted to explain about. You can,
It's basically that. Naman. Yeah. So it's really it's wait, the game will be the game is released. It's already released. You can also purchase that. I don't know if PlayStation 4 and Xbox consoles will have an auto update system for the Path of
Oh
Exile.
yeah, because they also have it.
Yeah.
They also have
Yeah,
Path of
they also have
Exile.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Path
So
of
for-
Exile have a Southeast Asia server?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
had
it
it had
has.
one. It had one back when it was first released. I think the handler for that back then was Garena.
Also.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Also Garena.
Garena handled it for
Garena
the C.
handles
Because when I
everything.
tried to play that in college, I think I remember that it was laggy as fuck.
But you have a different URL for C version. I think you have to type C at the
For the
first
Seiya.
URL.
Yes, server,
Yeah.
Path of Exile.
But right now, I think it's also available in Steam, so you can just play it on Steam.
yeah, I think it's up
Yeah.
on Steam. So if you can download it in the Philippines, I'm pretty sure you'll be.
It's unavailable in the Philippines.
What?
Oh,
Okay, then
oh
that's
my
sad.
Well then,
Rip.
just
Rip.
download it from the website itself, pathofexcel.com. Just-
But I think we've
Yeah.
tried that. I think. What
Hmm.
server are you closest at to it? But we've played it. Final Heaven
There's a
and I
C
have
server,
played
by
it
the way.
before,
There's
yeah.
really a C server. When you open the client,
Yeah, so
you
I
can
think,
choose on the C server.
So
So, yeah,
you're
that's my
safe.
top 2.
Saiyan people, yeah. Long Panda, have I asked you for your top 2? Right, so
Yeah,
we've covered everything. Yeah, I know Jebol's top 2 now. So I think I know Jebol's top 1. So Jebol, go on, announce your top 1, which I'm pretty sure I know. We
Okay.
all know.
How about you guess?
Of course, it's the most marketed game.
It's the most breathtaking.
breathtaking.
Amazing game.
If you want to see the most, according to Grounded, actually that the trailer for that game is amazing because they announce. Am I right? Am I right, Jebol? So
Yes,
that's your
yes,
number
yes.
one. Yeah. So this would be your number one is
Cyberpunk
Cyberpunk
2077.
2077.
Wow!
Would have guessed.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Never would have guessed that.
Wow, that's something, huh? That's something. Right, so Cyberpunk 2077, go ahead.
Basically, it's from CD Projekt Red, as everyone knows as the makers of Witcher. So high hopes for them on the RPG department, and it's a first-person shooter. So I like RPGs. I like FPS. Mix them
You
up.
also like Keanu Reeves?
Yes, of course.
Who doesn't like Keanu Reeves? So Cyberpunk 2077 releases on what platforms?
On
Apart
the
from PC.
current gen and the next gen consoles, so Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, and PS5.
Mhm.
It also releases 2 days after AC Valhalla, so rip
Ooh.
me.
2 games. Back to back,
if,
1 and 2.
if it's not delayed again.
Yeah, actually. It's been delayed twice. Am I right?
Twice, yes.
It's been delayed
It's been
twice. It
delayed
should have come
Really?
out.
Was it only
yeah.
twice? I thought it was 3 times.
I think
It's
it
been
was
so long.
yeah. So it's had. Did they delay it with no what do you call this? No concrete date from their last delay announcement? Is it TBA
there's-
or is there?
There is November 19
Okay,
is
so
the
they
new
pushed
release
it
date.
back.
But AC Valhalla is November 7.
So that's a back to back for you, 1 and 2. So fighting for them.
There's also they're live streaming the game tomorrow
Okay,
at
so
midnight
there you go.
on our time.
So if you
The
want
episode 2
to,
of Night City Wire. So
if you want
will
to
be
watch Cyberpunk 2077 live stream, that would either be tomorrow or yesterday, depending on when we release this video. So
there's a meme. There's actually a meme going on regarding the delays because each delay of Cyberpunk was announced exactly 91 days before the supposed release.
released. So how many days are we until the next anticipated delay?
So August 20 is gonna be 91 days before
Alright, so
November 19.
we have 11 days to see if the game will get delayed again.
Yes, exactly.
Based on that pattern. Alright. Okay, so Cyberpunk 2077. Of course, I think a lot of you already know this game. It's been marketed really aggressively. Alright, so Long Panda, top 1. Top 1.
My top one game is also Cyberpunk.
Ooh, okay. We have two
Oh my
cyberpunkers.
Going for the
We
mainstream.
already discussed a lot of the details of the game in depth. So for the sake of a differing discussion, I'm gonna say my top one game is Microsoft Flight Simulator 20.
Not a bad game.
Yes.
It's been 14
Flight
years.
sim,
since
flight
Flight
sim.
Simulator. Really excited for this. I also really do love simulator games. Currently addicted to Euro Truck
Flight
Simulator
sim.
because of how relaxing it is.
So you like Death Stranding?
Big-
Yes, it's a one.
Baby carrying simulator.
That's a coronavirus life simulator.
Microsoft
Okay, but
Flight
then,
Simulator. Nice.
Very excited for that. Planes are really cool. So it's my top one.
Your
since-
top one. And it's
They,
Well,
releasing.
they said they
Cyberpunk.
actually have full 3D models of each major airports.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Have
they,
you seen
they
the
modeled
graphics?
like
It's insane.
50. They modeled like 50 airports, I think, in the premium edition. So I'm also very excited for that.
It's almost better
Yeah.
than real life.
It's like you're flying in the craft itself.
It's
So
amazing.
It's coming out, I think, in 9 days.
Yeah, August
In 9
18,
days.
2020 for PC. So
So
I'll be
if
playing
if you're one of those travel enthusiasts, this is your best chance of traveling in the time of COVID-19. So Microsoft Flight Simulator, chug your budget for travel there and experience the beauty of the skies once more. So there you go. Microsoft, please
So
pay me
according
for the
to-
advertisement. For the
According to
spoil.
Wikipedia, it includes 37,000 real-world airports
Jesus.
and then over 2 million towns. So it's a very big game. You get to go around the world. Planes are very nice. So very excited for it.
Did I play? Oh no, I thought I played this in the SNES, but they didn't have it back then.
So
Or
will it
anything
take
that-
you a couple of days to go from the Philippines to the US? Is it a 1:1
One
travel time?
real time.
I don't,
Is it a real-time travel time?
I don't think it's real. I think a lot of its player base will go away if it lost out. So
Why? You get to
Because-
experience the beauty of flight. Get served
Also,
champagne.
You can do up. Go,
It's
Jebol.
on Steam.
Ooh.
Steam
Sounds-
Master Race.
Easy buys for the
So
flight
can we
simulator.
do the around the world in 80 days challenge with this?
Real time.
Literal 80 days.
How the hell will you pilot your craft for 80 days straight, man? So there you go. I think will it support we have flight sticks, right? Hopefully
I think
flight
so.
sticks will support the Microsoft
Yeah.
flight simulator.
I'm pretty sure it's supported.
Supported, yeah. So go if you have one, you still have one tucked away on your cabinets or whatever. You can try it out. I think you can still use them for the flight sim, so you can feel like you're really flying and traveling, right? So that's top one for Long Panda. Because Jebol took Cyberpunk 2077 already. Alright. So Kwepoy, how about you? What is your top one?
So my top one. So I started with nostalgia. I'll end with nostalgia.
Hmm.
It's Crash Bandicoot 4.
Ooh, there you go.
Crash Bandicoot 4.
Fine.
It's been
Announced
22 years
since the
since Warp.
last.
So it's a mainline game. They're basically retconning the previous titles. If you watch the trailers for Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah, it's a restart.
Yeah, although it's not great, it's not developed by Naughty Dog anymore. I do believe the current devs will do a great job. I think it's the one it's the same dev that made the remake, if I'm not mistaken. It's Vicarious Visions. I'll check on that.
Yes, we go check on that. Publisher is Activision.
No, it's
It's
different. It's Toys
different.
for
It's
Bob.
Toys for Bob, yeah. Toys for Bob. What are their? Well, you have Skylander as one of their. Oh yeah, they did remake Crash
Oh.
Bandicoot and Insane Trilogy and the Spyro Trilogy.
Yeah, I thought that was Vicarious Visions. No, it really is. What? I'm confused.
So we have a bit of confusion here.
It says here it's Vicarious Visions.
But
Did they change their name?
possibly, maybe. Wait, let's
Probably
check their
not.
history. We'll research on that. I don't know. But they are under Activision, I think. That's why the publisher, the publisher for the game is Activision.
Okay. Anyway, I still think it's going to be an amazing game, judging by the trailers.
Yeah,
The
so
gameplay stay first. It has replay value. I think the levels will be. They will have different mechanics for the levels. So even if you played through it once,
it will change
give
the
a
next
different
time.
feeling. Yeah, it will change. It will change for the next time. Yeah, so I think it's going to release very soon.
Yeah, it's coming out on October 2nd. So that's
October 2nd,
really
so it's-
really close.
Very close. Yeah, so that's my top one.
This was just recently announced during
Yeah, it's
During State of
I
Play,
think
right?
I think that's last month that they
yeah,
announced this.
okay.
Although it was leaked, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, but that's really quick from announcement to release. That's really quick.
Yeah, very quick.
Well, they've been keeping this one from the limelight for quite some time, then they just release it. Well, that's nice. So releasing on the
Although
PS4,
sadly, it's not going to release on
PC.
Yeah.
No PC
Yeah.
for
If,
user.
if it's similar to the other remake,
Yeah.
the remake of the first three.
It's like
It's going to release in a year or two.
console
Yes.
first.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, it's
But
consoles first.
Crash Bandicoot 4. Cool, right? So it's coming out on consoles, no PC yet. So that's Kuepo's number one. So I'll go ahead and say my number one. Actually, this one passed by me, and just uh, I thought it was a joke when it was like when people said that they'll be releasing this one, but it seems to be legit when I double checked. So it's Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. So that's my number one. I most
Hey.
anticipate because of the name. I thought it was just a joke, but then I double checked. It was official, so it's real. So Re-Reckoning is coming. So Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, the original one, is one of my most favorite RPGs, and I think it's really underrated. So you could go try it out. It's out on Steam too. It has the feel of games like Elder Scrolls, but it's high fantasy, and the one that I like it a lot because of its customization. So your classes, I mean, you don't have a class, you like choose a path for your character. So you have you can combine multiple skills from the different classes based on a wizard, the thief, and the warrior. And then you can mix and match all of those to create your own unique class. And then also the items, it's just like it feels like you're playing an MMO, but it's in single player. So, and then when it was released in its time, I think it was back in 2012 or 2013, it really has great and colorful graphics. So the Re-Reckoning, I think, would be a remake with the visuals. So it already looks amazing still, even in this date and time. So it will look amazing, even more amazing when it comes out. So I'm really excited for this. It releases September 9th, so I have a month to wait for it. It will come out on Steam. Yeah, so this is just a remaster with visuals. I don't know if they'll be
Master
giving
Race.
a new story or anything like that, but Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, I am waiting for. That's my top one. Alright, so Final
Chakrams
Heaven.
in HD.
Yes.
Nice.
Chakrams.
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 Chakrams for days.
Yes.
Yes, you do get me. The most amazing melee long range weapon ever. So, Final Heaven, your top one.
So my top one is from Square Enix as the publisher and Team Asano as the developers. So if you know, Team Asano also made Octopath Traveler, and as you may know, Square Enix is notorious for its RPGs. So the game that
RPG.
yes, the game that took the first place is Bravely Default 2.
Wow, it's been
So,
announced
back
for
in
some time.
yeah, I remember back in 2012, it was released on Nintendo 3DS, the Bravely Default, the first one, and I really like its take on the turn-based gameplay. So you have this brave feature where you can advance your moves up to 4 steps, up to 4 rounds. But when you use it, you also lose the turn in exchange. Also, it's technically not single player because it has this fun or buddy system where you can use skills of your friend's main character and main job, and you can borrow that skill to use it in battle. And it also has a farming simulator, so it's all in one. But what I like in
All in
Bravely
one
Default 2 and what I like in Bravely Default 2 is that it has a new set of stories, and I also hope that they retain the Final Fantasy 4 job system Oh wait. Job classifications like you have the black mage, the white mage. Yeah.
FF4.
Even the first Bravely Default has this system. So it has a high replay. It has a high replayability.
Replayability, yeah.
So you can repeat. Yeah. I remember playing my first Bravely Default. I grinded up to level 50, and I haven't even finished Act 1 of that of the storyline. That's how you can vary your wait.
Your
Basta yun.
characters, yeah.
No, you can
Sige, Tagalog mo na yan, pre.
Yeah, but it's going to be released this 2020 or so we think. Depends on how
Yeah.
the pandemic will move. But you can also check it out already in Nintendo's King Store. You can also download the
There's
demo.
a demo,
by the way.
I think.
You can
Yeah,
al-
there's a
you-
demo. There's a
yeah,
demo.
yeah.
So it's coming out on its mother platform ever since that's Nintendo Switch, right?
Yes.
It's coming out on the Switch. So
Wait,
really-
I think it's only for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
and
it's-
for the future consoles.
it's
Because
only on the
you know,
Switch.
Nintendo being selfish and all.
It's been
Just
there.
kidding.
I think the only Bravely
Keep those
Default
first-party
game,
titles.
the only
Yeah.
Bravely Default game outside of the Nintendo system I know, if I'm right, is the mobile version.
Yeah.
We have a mobile game. We have a gacha game. Woohoo! Gacha Master Race.
Gachas.
So we have a gacha of Bravely Default 2. So I think that's the only one outside of the Nintendo platform. Right, so
yeah,
Disappointing,
that's my top one.
Gotcha.
gotcha. That's our top 5 most anticipated games by the team, by Dice and D-Pad. So we will be doing this podcast weekly. So we will start with, of course, a rundown of the news that we had for the past week, and then a topic related to gaming as we talk about it too. And in the future, maybe if you want to suggest any topics that you want us to talk about, or if you have any questions, or also want to share your most anticipated games, go put it down in the comments section below. So that's it from us. Once again, I'm Zelestiv.
Great time. Final Heaven.
Weapon.
Jebol.
Long Panda.
Alright, and that's the Dice and D-Pads team. So we hope to see you in our next podcast. Bye-boo.
Bye-bye.